Hi, warm greetings, people. Before we start things off, can you all tell me whether you all can hear me and you all can see a screen? Yes, on the chat screen. Yeah. I can hear. Right. Just take. Just. I can hear. Yes. Can we check? Can you all check whether you all can hear me or not? Am I audible? And can you all see a screen? Yes. On your end. Yes. Yeah. Right. So we have 53 odd people. So welcome. Yes, people now. We have 53 participants joining us in on Zoom, and we also have a couple of participants joining us uh, on YouTube. So you all know this will be streamed in YouTube as well as it will be streamed via Zoom as well, right? So just a small reminder, we'll be starting very soon. If there is anyone else to join your friends, please do remind them. We'll be starting very soon, right? Yes, right. I'll give you all a couple of minutes, right? Give you all 3 more minutes. So if there's anyone else, right, please do pass the message. We'll be starting soon. Hi, so warm greetings, people. Before we start things off, can we check the screen and the audio? Am I audible and can you see a screen? Yes. So you can answer on the chat screen. Yes. Right. Okay. All right. Right. Now. I warmly welcome you all to the free advanced level ICT seminar conducted by the Rotaract Club of University of California, specifically the IT Avenue, as a part of a project by the name, we're going by the name Eduketha. To tell you a little bit about Project Eduketha, we are focusing, it's an initiative that is highly focused on digital literacy. We are assisting, we are helping, we are giving hands for students who are really in need. We are trying to bridge the digital divide and whatnot, right? As a part of our project again constitutes of three phases, where this free ICT seminar is conducted as part of the second phase of this project. Again, if you are planning, we have around 60 students joining us in Zoom, and we also have a couple of participants joining us via YouTube. Again, now you know why all this fuss. Again, what is it? Again, to what? Get through this hurdle of your life. Again, A levels, advanced level, right? After again now after you're done with your A levels, you again what you are aiming for. Again, what? Get through, get into a state university, right? So once you step in to a state university, you too can again get part of these interactive clubs and again conduct such projects. So this project, this seminar again is brought to you by Eduketha again as a part of our initiative. So this again is the phase two. So we have prepped a small video about our project. So we'll be starting very soon. So after this project, after this small video clip, we'll be starting off with our session, right? So the plan for the day is to conduct. Plan for the day is to complete a 50 MCQ question paper that is specifically targeted on your exams, right? So we'll be discussing the entire paper, right? So stay tuned with us, stay long throughout the session. It will be really valuable on your end, given that you have your exams in a couple of days, happening in a couple of days. So this will be really fruitful for you on your end, right? As well as remind your participants, right? So we have enough and more room on our Zoom meeting, as well as you also can join via YouTube again based on your convenience, right? So yes, right. So we have a small video clip arranged, right? So right after we can start with our session. Yes.
We are committed to providing accessible and inclusive education opportunities to all. This A-level seminar is a phase of Project Eduketha, empowering students with vital ICT skills for their future. Our objectives: enhance ICT knowledge, make learning accessible, build a brighter, future-ready community. Together, we're shaping minds, uplifting communities, and paving the way for a brighter tomorrow.
So we can start off with our session. So we are planning to discuss a 50 MCQ question paper, right? So I don't think I really need to remind you on the structure of the paper. So given that you have only a couple of weeks to go with your exam, so again, there is no need for me to explain about the structure of the paper. You know, it's a 50 MCQ question. You know about the weightage of this paper as well as the number of MCQs as well as the number of choices it has and the composition of uh, the questions, right? So I'll remind you from time to time about the weightage of the paper, right, with regards to different units. Before we start, I will have to deliver a couple of notes, right? I want you all to be super active on the chat screen, right? So I want you all to be lightning fast on the chat screen, right? So this will be an interactive session, right? So you're not going to watch a movie here, right? Uh, you will have to be active on the chat screen, right? Be active on the chat screen, be lightning fast on the chat screen, right? And also we have prepped a small quiz, right? So there will be a little competition, right, throughout the session. So you too can participate in that as well, right? So we'll be maintaining a leaderboard as well. Finally, our plan is to deliver a small, a gift, right? So after the session is done, right? So any questions before we start things off? Yes. I think we are good to go, right? Yes. Shall we proceed? Yeah. Come on, people. Right? So we have people from different parts of the island, right? So we saw registrations. There were 440 registrations. We have 600 participants, 600 odd participants in our groups, right? So again, pass this message, along with your friends as well. And I think we're good to proceed. Yes or no? Yes, people. Shall we? All right. Right. So again, I'll share the question paper on my screen. So just a small reminder now, if in case you come across with any technical issue, our technical team is working behind, right? So they are working back screen. So this session is again brought to you again as again what with that tremendous effort. So they will be working behind the scenes. So hats off to them as well. Again, so if in case you come across with a technical issue, please do communicate. They will be assisting you uh, with any sort of a matter that you come across while we are again engaging the session, right? So I'll be sharing the paper with you. Yes. Yes, people will be sharing the tube in a minute. So before that, just wanted to tell you about the structure of the paper. Again, 50 MCQs, 5 choices. You know the paper will be covering all 13 units. And speaking about the composition, you know unit 1, right? You will receive one or at certain times, at certain instances, you will not receive any question, right? From unit 1, again, unit 2, same as that. Unit 3, there are chances of you getting 3 to 4 questions. Uh, so speaking about unit 4 operating systems, it has some weightage, right? So there are chances of you getting 5 to 6 MCQs, right? Again, moving ahead with unit 6 networking, again, very important chapter, right? Will be tested in your structured essays, in your essays, right? As well as uh, will be tested in your MCQs as well, and there are chances of you receiving 6 to 7 MCQs, right? Reminding of Unit 8, Unit 7 systems, yes, and it's really important, right? You'll be getting around 5 to 6 MCQs along with the structured essay questions. Now, you so if you have again, you know, if you have noticed this, right? So there were several changes, you know, with the structure of the paper, you know, in the recent most years, right? And Unit 8 databases, once again, really important chapter. You will be getting an essay question, and there will be a lot of MCQs as well as there are very less chances of you getting this. Right? It depends, people, right? So in structured essay, it really depends, but you'll be getting an essay question, and there will be MCQs as well, right? Then Unit 9 programming, right? One of the this is again, you know, the unit with the most weight in terms of your syllabus, right? So programming, Python programming, as well as Unit 10, right? Web development, where we'll be discussing both static and dynamic web development. And right after that, you have Unit 11, 12, 11, 12, and 13. So specifically focusing on areas like IoT, Internet of Things, e-commerce, and new trends in ICT. So the paper again, you know, constitutes of these areas, right? So we'll be discussing. It will be a comprehensive discussion, right? We'll be attempting these questions as well as we'll be. I'll make sure that I discuss a few theoretical areas as well. But don't expect me to again, you know, go from to teach you things from scratch, given that we have again, given that this again is you only have a couple of days to go with your exams, right? Yes, I will be sharing the paper now. You just let me know whether you can see the paper on the chat screen as well. Yes, right. Can we fade to the paper? So can we have answers? Yes. It's a very simple question. Which data processing framework is commonly used for distributed storage and processing of large data sets in big data data ecosystems, you will come across with this question. This particular area is tested from unit 1, right? So yes, can we see answers? So what do you think? No idea. Okay. So I got a few answers, right? The rest people, are you all sleeping? I know it's Tuesday morning, right? So we started off early, but still, given that you have only a couple of days to go with your exams, right? Again, by now, you should be super active. You should be working a lot, right? So giving your best, bringing your A game in, right? So then, can I see answers? No idea. Okay, right? So let me explain, right? So I'll tell you a little bit about what big data is. So what do you think, right? What is big data? At least right now, maybe this again can be a little tricky, can be a little again, untouched area for you, right? Given that this is a model paper, we will have to go again, beyond the limits. That is the whole point of including questions like these, right? So tell me, what is big data, people? What do you think about big data? Yeah, no idea, right? So again, big data, right? Simply big data is what? Again, large data sets, right? So that is generated at an unprecedented rate, again, which cannot be processed using what? Traditional data processing methods, right? So these traditional data processing methods, you're very well aware of these, relational databases, right? So again, manual databases, all that, right? So basically, you really can't process these large data sets, with the help of what? With the help of these traditional data processing methods. That is the whole idea behind what? That is the whole idea behind big data ecosystems, people. To be specific, big data, right? So again, social media, again, e-commerce platforms. These are very good examples for again big data sources where big data is being generated. So now, given that there is such limitation in the traditional data processing methods, again, we will have to find solutions, right? So we basically discuss about three such frameworks. One is Hadoop, right? And we've got Cassandra, and we've got Apache Spark, and there are a few other platforms as well, few other technologies as well. So in this case, Hadoop is your answer. SQL, Python, NoSQL, MapReduce, right? So SQL, it falls under relational category again. Traditional data processing methods, right? So again, not really about big data ecosystem, right? So Python is a programming language. Irrelevant answer. You can simply what? Eliminate this, right? So this again, you can eliminate. NoSQL again, it's not relational, but still, doesn't fall under the category. So no. MapReduce, no, it's a model that is used in Hadoop. So SQL again, relational databases, traditional data processing methods, which really don't serve the purpose. So Hadoop is your answer, right? So could be a probable question in your exam, right? So make sure you jot this down, right? Hadoop, Cassandra, Apache Spark. These are few examples of big data ecosystems. So yes, right? So you can jot down this answer, right? So Hadoop is your right answer for this question. And again, to remind you a little bit about tips and tricks that you can use while you are attempting questions, right? Now you don't really need to know the exact answer always, right? So if you can eliminate the incorrect answers, there you go, right? So now in this case, Python again, it's what? It's a programming language, so not really falling with distributed storages and big data ecosystems. So you really can eliminate that. And again, no SQL, no, that's irrelevant. Right? SQL, we discussed this in relational databases, so no, right? have come across with again, terminologies like this. So obviously it's hard to do, right? So yes. Yes. Hold on a second, people. Yes. So we can move to the next question. In the context of big data, again, from big data, what does the term data warehousing refers to? Okay, people, yes. You have five choices. So let me read. Yes. The process of cleaning and organizing raw data, a storage system for large volumes of unstructured data, and analysis of real-time streaming data, collection and storage of structured data, reporting and analysis, a type of database management system. So what do you all think? Yes, on the chat screen, people. Come on. It's a very simple question. Data warehousing, again, in unit 1. What do you all think? Okay, we have a few answers. Yes. Right. So we have a couple of answers, right? So we have a couple of answers. So most of you all are telling it's B, a storage system for large volumes of unstructured data. Fine. And few of you all are telling it's D, the collection and storage of structured data for reporting and analysis. Fine. And a few of you all are also telling it's okay, right? So let's see, right? In the context of big data, what does the term data warehousing refer to? Right? The process of cleaning and organizing raw data. He said, right? The process of cleaning and organizing raw data is it. What do you think? Now, cleaning and organizing raw data people, we use a specific terminology for this. We call it data wrangling. Right? So this is not really about data wrangling. This is really about data warehousing. So we can eliminate the first answer, right? So this is not your answer, right? Next up, we have a storage system for large volumes of unstructured data. Now this makes some sense, right? So a storage system. Now this is the keyword that you have to spot. Storage system, right? So now warehousing refers to what? Right? Storage and maintenance of data, right? But we are discussing about data warehousing in what context, in what paradigm? We are discussing data warehousing in the paradigm of big data, right? So big data, again, people, right? Large volumes of unstructured data, right? That is generated at an unprecedented rate, which cannot be processed using traditional data processing mechanisms. So that is simply big data. So big data and data warehousing, they are specifically referring to data warehousing in the paradigm of big data. So the storage system for large volumes of unstructured data. So this makes some sense, right? So this again, relates with our question. So we'll leave this for a moment, right? Now, just because you have spotted the answer, right? Now this can be the answer. This can not be the answer, right? So there are three more choices. So now this is something that you will have to be really mindful, right? So always make sure, right? Now once you spot the answer, right? But still now let's say you have three more choices left again to go through, right? So please don't again strike the answer then and there itself. Please make sure that you read the rest of the choices as well, and make sure that you what again extract the most relevant answer, not again, there can be answers, there can be correct answers, but your examiner is expecting you to provide what, right, the most correct answer, right? So please make sure that you again, go through, each and every single word, right? So make sure you read word by word, right? So you have enough and more time. You will get 2 hours, and again, there will be additional 10 minutes reading time. So make sure you read, right? So there is enough and more time for you to again to attempt your ICT paper, right? So we'll leave this for a moment. We'll proceed with the rest of the choices, and we'll try to sort out the most appropriate answer. Now, next up we have analysis of real-time streaming data. What is this? Is it really again, is it relevant actually? Tell them. So what is again the term used for option A is data wrangling paper, right? So not covered at your level. It will be again covered at undergrad level, but still I have included given that this again is a model paper, right? So data wrangling. If you want the term, yes, we can write the word, right? So it's data wrangling. Right? So this is the word data wrangling, right? Yes, right. That is done. Okay, we'll proceed with the rest of the choices. So analysis of real-time streaming data, no, that is not really the relevant answer. No, we are not looking at what analyzing real-time data. This is not about analyzing. This is about what? This is about storage and what? This is about storage and maintenance of what? Data. So this is about storage and maintenance of data, not analysis of real-time streaming data. Right? So this again is not your right answer. So no. Right? Moving ahead, the collection and storage of structured data for reporting and analysis. Now, collection and storage does make some sense. This is why I told you you're not going to what stick to one single answer. The moment that you what spot one, right? So instead, what you should do, right? You will have to what read all five choices, right? Filter out the most most appropriate answer, yeah, right? So collection and storage. This makes some sense, right? Collection and storage and maintenance. Yes, right. We really can see they have incorporated the idea, but now this, look at this structured data, right? What we are discussing about big data, not again, it's unstructured data, right? So mainly that is the whole idea, right? So something more to add. Now data again, people, we can classify, we can bifurcate into three different types, right? So you have structured data, you have unstructured data, and you have semi-structured data, right? So I hope you know examples of these as well, right? So if you don't really know, make sure you take a look at your theory notes. Make sure you revise all those areas. Given that these are most again very basics of your syllabus. I don't really have time again, given that we have a time constraint today. So we will have to discuss all these 50 MCQs. So I will not be touching on those areas. So make sure you again, recall those areas from again from your theory days. Yes. Finally, we have a type of a database management system, not really, right? So this is not a database management system. The idea is wrong. Yes, we might be using database management systems to again to warehouse data, but still it doesn't relate to this again. It's a technology, it's a tool, but this again is a concept, right? So you'll have to understand difference between concepts and again technologies. Hope this is clear. So the most appropriate answer is answer B, right? So you can go with that answer. Yes. Yes. Can I see this question? Yeah. Okay, we have a question. If there is an unstructured data, then can it be taken as the answer? Large. Uh, can you can you be more specific? I don't really get what you're trying to mean here. Yeah. Could you be more specific? Yes. Right. Interesting. Now, again, moving on to unit 2, in a two's complement binary system, how is the number 5 represented? Very simple. From from your digital electronics, the basics of digital electronics, right? From the data representation chapter, unit 2, unit 3, right? In a two's complement binary system, how is the number 5 represented? Yes, people. Can I see answers? Yeah. So I want you all to be lighting house on that screen. Come on. Yes, yes, true Fatima. Right? So if it was again now given that it's structured, it's incorrect. That is the reason. Yes, right? You're correct on that. True. So we have a few answers. So we all are telling it's A, few of you all are telling it's E. Uh, yes, right? So let's see, right? Now, in a two's complement binary system, right? First of all, you will have to again, determine what is this, right? So what are they trying to mean, right? So complements. Where do you come across complements? With complements, right? Which area? Now we know when you are representing data, we really can't store data inside the computer. What we really can do is we can represent, right? So in the form of two discrete voltages, right? Ones and zeros, right? So if I tell again, if I again, be interpreting it as what storing numbers inside the computer, that is wrong, right? So we really can't store data we really can't store. What we are doing is, we are representing them as two discrete voltages. Given that you all have, again, you all have learned all these areas. I hope you have better understanding about this. You have learned digital circuits, you have learned data representation, you have learned operating system. You know how the memory works. You know how things are being stored, right? You have learned about static and dynamic RAMs. You have learned about data storages, different storage mechanisms, how they work, right? So different media and all that, right? So given that now data representation, this is where we come across with this question, and so that is the relevant area. So now when representing data, data can be again, you can data can come in different forms, right? So it can be text, it can be numbers, it can be images, it can be audios, right? So there can be, again, we really can't frame data into these these handful number of categories, right? So it's really broad, right? So now with things like IoT and all that, now this is really broad, right? This area is really broad, right? So data, right? So anything could be data, right? As of now, right? So now complements are basically used people to what? For representing negative numbers, right? It's used for representing negative numbers. So we basically we really have again a couple of methods that we are using again to represent data. The sign bit method. We have ones complement, we have twos complement. Twos complement is again the most efficient method. Given that other methods have what inherent drawbacks, inherent limitations in that, right? So the sign bit method, there's a sign, there's a portion again, in the bit sequence that is, specifically allotted for the sign, and the rest of the portion, which again is the magnitude, represents the number, right? But anyhow, we are not going to discuss that, given that those are, very basic areas. We are going to discuss this. So, two's complement, right? Now, complements are used for representing negative numbers. So, what are they asking us? They are asking us how to represent number 5, right? So fine. Tell me whether this number is it positive or negative. What do you think? Is it positive or negative? Come on. It's positive, right? Now these are your what? These are your elementary what? Okay, in math, right? Even if I ask a 6-year-old, you will tell me what? Number 5, again, here is positive, right? You don't really need a sign right in front of it. Just tell it's positive or negative, right? You don't really have a sign, it's positive, right? So 5 here is positive, but we are using complements for what? For what purpose? To represent negative numbers. So tell me whether there's a need or not, again, for us to convert this to a complement. Yes. We don't really, there is no need, right? Right? There's no need of converting this number for what? For two's complement, because we use two's complement to what? Represent negative numbers. But here in this case it's a positive number, right? So we can follow the general data representation, general way, the generic way that we are using to represent these numbers. Okay, there is nothing to worry about. What this positive number. So what you can do is how to again to write this in the form of binary, right? So very simple. You can use the positional value method, right? So by assigning weights. So 5. Yes, people, can I see an answer, right? So how can we represent number 5, right? So it's what? It's now this, right? Is it the first? Is it the first answer? Okay, we work here on elements. It's the first answer. Okay, we'll see, right? So 0, 1, 0, 1, right? So this is 2 raised to the power 0. This is 2 raised to the power 1. This is 2 raised to the power 2. This is 2 raised to the power 3. Now, I don't really need to do this, but still, I'm doing this. Again, given that few of you all, if you all have missed, right? So capture, the missed areas to this, right? So 2 to the power 0, again, 2 raised to the power 0 is 1, right? So this again is we don't really need this, given that again the product will be the 0, right? So here it's 4, here it's 0. You aggregate this, you will end up with what? You will end up with 5, right? So this is the most relevant answer. Now you know all these answers they are incorrect, right? Now you don't really need to follow right now. Couple of minutes ago I told you will have to go through each and every single question. But when it comes to numerics, right? When it comes to quantitative questions, right? You don't really need to waste much time, right? So see, right now again from question to question, that your strategy will change. Now in this case, given that you have figured out the answer, obviously this can't be what 1 0 0 0, right? So this can't be 1 0 1 0 right? Of course, the value will change. So you can go with this. We'll proceed with the rest of the questions. Yeah. Yes. Can we take to the screen? Yeah. So how is 0 represented in one's complement binary system? What do you all think, people? Come on. All ones. Okay. All. How about others? What else? All zeros. Okay. Now we have a little contradiction between answers. So few of you all are telling it's all zeros. Few of you all are telling it's all ones. What do you all think? What if I tell it's all ones? What if? What if? You know. What if this was all zeros and all ones? What do you think? Now, this area, people, this is the inherent drawback of one's complement, right? So you all should be aware of this, right? So we are moving from one's complement to two's complement, given that there is this inherent limitation of one's complement. One's complement, right, has again two different values for zeros, right? Now I'll write a small number. Now for an example, I'll have decimal number 10. I'll have decimal number 10, right? Now I'll convert this to binary, right? What is it? Right? What is it? I'll write it in two. I'll write it in. I'll represent it as. I'll use a 4-bit representation. In this case, 1010. Am I right or wrong? Yes. Right. So this is the binary equivalent of what? Positive number 10. Right. Now right? We are using one's complement again to what? To represent negative numbers, right? So there is no need of me converting this to one's complement, given that this is positive. So I'm going to make it negative, right? Negative 10. But still, what is the first step? You will have to what? You will have to convert this to what? You will have to convert this to binary. Your next step is what? Again, you will have to flip the bits, right? You will have to invert the bit sequence. Yes or no? That is how you go from what? Binary to one's complement. True or false? Flip the bits, right? Flip zeros as ones, flip ones as zeros, right? So 0, 1, 0, 1, right? So this is number 10, right? Done. You know how to again, deal with one's complement. What if I again, now, what if I again, how about 0, people? Do we have a minus 0? Do we have a positive 0? Yes, can I have answers? We don't really have, right? So this is undefined, right? We don't know, right? Do we have a positive 0? Do we have a negative 0? We don't really have such. But in the case of one's complement, 0 again has two different values, right? Now 1 can have two different values because 1 can be positive, 1 can be negative. But 0 again, it can have what? It can have what? Two different values, right? Because again, it's a neutral number, right? To be honest, it's actually undefined. right? So we really can't have two numbers. So what should be your answer, right? Now, in one's complement, there are two different values, right? So if we get positive 0, the answer will be 1. Now, I'll use 4-bit representation, so this will be 1. If you get the one's complement, this will be 1, 1, 1, 1, right? Understood or not? Got my point or not? Yes? Yes, people? Am I clear or not? Do we have any queries, questions attached to this? Yes. If not, we can proceed. Understood, right? So all zeros, no, this is not your answer. All ones, no, this is not your answer. This actually doesn't make any sense, right? So 1 followed with 3 zeros, no, right? So that's bullshit. Then we have 0 followed by 3 once again, right? Now, people, you will have to know that your examiners, right? Now, these fellows, right? They're really funny, right? What they do is, they really want you to again, right? They really want to mislead you, right? When it comes to your exam, right? Now, the whole purpose of advanced level examination again is what? Is to increase the pass rate and to what? To bring the A rate to a least value, right? So you should be again mindful when you're dealing with questions like these, right? Now this question again, now if you look at these answers, right? So they are so irrelevant, right? So of course this can't be an answer, right? Understood? Got my point? Yeah. Exactly, exactly. No, right? So, I mean, no, these are again irrelevant answers again given to you just to mislead you, right? Just to divert you from what? Ending up with the wrong answer. Got my point or not? Right? Done, right? So we can proceed. So this is your answer. All zeros and all ones given that. One's complement again. This comes with what the zero comes with. Two separate values. So that is the inherent limitation. So now if you look at two's complement, I will show you how this was. You know how this was rectified, right? Let's see that as well, right? Now zero in two's complement, you see. 0, right? So I'll use a 4-bit representation. Now this is in binary. I'll proceed with one's complement. So it will be what? Now you will have to flip the bits. You will have to invert the bit sequence, right? Now I'm going from one's complement to two's complement. What should I do? I will have to what? Add an extra bit at the end, right? So 1 plus 1, what is it? 1 plus 1, it's 1 0, not 10, okay? It's 1 0, it's binary 2, right? So 0 1, right? So we'll have to what? We'll have to add the what? Add the extra bit, add the carry bit to what? To the following bit, right? So again, you're going to what? End up with what? 0, right? Again, you're going to end up with what? 0, right? Again, you're going to end up with 0, and there is one extra bit, right? Now, in two's complement, what do? Right? When there is an extra bit, you simply what? Ignore this bit. Right? You are going to ignore this bit. So see, right? The ones complement equivalent and the general equivalent and the two's complement equivalent, they are the same. So this is how this was rectified. Got my point or not? Right? I think I have spent enough and more time discussing the fourth question. We'll proceed with the rest of the questions quickly. So next question: what is the primary purpose of the kernel in an operating system? Very simple. What do you think? Right? Come on. Let me see answers. Yes. Can I see your answers, people? Now I see very few faces again. When it comes to touch screen, right? So we have 47 participants, right? So, but still, I'm only getting a couple of answers. What do you think? What is the primary purpose of the kernel in an operating system, right? So this question, people, now again this is tested from your operating system, right? Now your operating system again can be bifurcated into two parts, right? It has a kernel portion, and then there is the shell, right? You've got a kernel, you've got a shell, right? Now kernel deals with what? All the lower level tasks of your operating system is handled with what? With the kernel, right? So for an example, managing your device hardware, right? Memory management, all those lower level tasks are again, what? Again, it is facilitated with what? It is facilitated with the kernel, right? So, but now moving on to the other end, shell, right? It really deals with the interface, right? So what you are really seeing, right, on an operating system, again, it comes as part of this shell. So basically, there are different types of shell. You have CLIs, you have GUIs, command line interfaces, you have graphical user interfaces. So you should be aware of these by now. So kernel, deals with what? Kernel deals with what? Lower level functions, lower level tasks of again your operating system. So we have five choices. Let's read them one by one, and we'll try to extract the most appropriate answer, right? So to handle user interface design, not really, right? So this is done with what? This is done with the shell, right? So next up we have to manage lower level tasks like hardware and resource allocation, right? Make some sense, right? So to provide network security, right? To control applications graphical appearance. No, again, this is done using what? The GUI shell, right? So graphical user interface, right? To manage only storage devices, not really, right? This again, falls as what? As again storage management. No. So what is your most ideal answer to this question? It's answer number B, to manage lower level tasks like hardware and resource allocation. Right? Hope this is clear. Yes. We'll proceed with the rest of the areas. Right? So moving on to question number 6. Which e-commerce revenue model involves earning income by providing a platform for buyers and sellers to transact? Now this again, people, this is just from your unit number 11, right? So e-business, right? So what we are really testing here is different types of revenue models, right? So we have the subscription model, we have the advertising model, the brokerage model, direct sales model, affiliate model, and there are two more models as well that is not covered at your level, right? So we have the freemium, and we also have don't really recall it, but still, these are the areas that is covered in your level, right? So just jot this down as well. We have the freemium model as well, right? So where initially, the user is allowed, right, to experience again, initially the services are provided freely. Later on, to move ahead, to enjoy the rest of the benefits, you will have to what? Again, pay a subscription. That is the idea behind freemium. That is something extra. But these models are again, very common to you. Subscription model, advertising model, brokerage, direct sales, and affiliate model. Right. So let's see. What are they testing us? Which e-commerce revenue model involves earning income by providing a platform for buyers and sellers to transact? What do you think? Is it the advertising model? Is it the brokerage? Is it the direct sales model or the affiliate model? What do you think? So what about subscription model? Not really, right? So now in the subscription model, what they really focusing is, you are going to pay a fee, right? You're going to obtain the services again, after paying a subscription, right? So not really the subscription model. What are some examples of subscription models, right? So you have Spotify, you have Apple Music, you have Deezer, right? You have Netflix, right? Amazon Prime. So these are few examples of subscription model. How about advertising model? Advertising model, right? Now Google AdSense is one good example of the advertising model. So mainly they are generating revenue. These e-businesses, they are generating revenue through what? Through what? Displaying advertisements. So not really. Again, this doesn't align with our question. So how about the brokerage model? Not really, right? Or is it used for advertising? How about the affiliate model? Is it the direct sales model? Uh, is it C or is it D or is it E? Right? Not the affiliate model, right? So there is no affiliation here, right? Not direct sales. So this is your right answer, right? So what are some examples to this, right? You have AliExpress, right? You have eBay, right? You have Amazon, right? So what they really do is, they provide you a platform, right? They have again, built a platform where what buyers and sellers can meet. They can what trade. They can transact, right? Again, different goods and services, right? So good examples of these are again what AliExpress and what uh, eBay and all such services. Yes, I think we can proceed with the rest of the questions. In e-commerce, which business type involves selling directly from a business to a consumer? What do you think? Now these are business models, right? In a digital economy, right? So first up, we have B2B, we have C2C, we have B2C, and we have C2B and G2C. What do you think? B2B. What do you think? Which business type involves selling directly from a business to a selling from a business to a consumer, right? So you don't really need to again, spend a lot of time, again the answer again, you can extract the answer from the question itself. People involve selling directly from a business to consumer. So what do you think? It's what? It's B2C, business to consumer. Very simple, right? So these are again, we don't really have to spend much time on discussing these questions. They are really easy. Again, right? We'll proceed with the next question. Which of the following best describes digital economy? So what can someone define the terminology digital economy for me, please? Yes, people. So me, right? Economy based solely on manufacturing. Okay. Economy centered around online data and internet enabled services. Fine. Economy focused on agriculture and natural resources. Economy relying only on physical and retail stores. Okay. Economy limited to local business transactions. So what do you think? Now, now we have people from different how many of you all are following the commerce stream? Right, let's see a count. Come on. Let's see a quick count. How many of you all are following? Okay. Right. So can someone define the term economy for me, please? Yes, quickly. Right. So basically, economy is all about what? So what is it, people? So economy is what? Right. So it's again, it's a mechanism where what people solve their what basic problems, right? So mainly, if you go to economics, you'll be deeply discussing this, but in our sense, we don't really need to go into such depth. So basically now, digital economy basically what? Again, it revolves upon, it revolves around what? Online data, internet enabled what services, technologies, and what trading goods and services over these platforms and all that, right? So now here in this case, economy based on solely what? Solely on manufacturing, right? So that again is what? That again is a manufacturing economy, right? Next up, we have now this makes some sense, so we'll jot that down, right? Economy focus on agriculture and natural resources. What is this? This is the agroeconomy. So not again, align with our question. Economy relying on physical and retail stores. There is no specific term for this as of my understanding. And economy limited to local business transactions. Again, we don't really have terms for these, right? So your most appropriate answer is what? Answer B. Economy centered around online data and internet-enabled technologies, right? So these questions are very simple, people, right? You don't really need to stress yourself on these. There are a few areas that you need to use, especially when it comes to big data, cloud computing, and all that. Now we have a question from unit number 13, new trends in ICT. Which technology uses a decentralized ledger system to ensure transparency and security in digital transactions? What do you think? What do you think? Yes. So we have artificial intelligence, we have blockchain, we have cloud computing, we have augmented reality, we have 3D printing. What do you think, people? Come on. What is it? Right, so they are discussing about a decentralized ledger system, right? That is ensuring transparency and security in digital transactions. What is it about? Is it artificial intelligence? Is it blockchain? Is it cloud computing? Is it augmented reality? Or is it 3D printing? What is it? So we have a couple of answers. So we all are telling it's answer number B, right? So I'll go through each of these terms, right? So artificial intelligence, right? Now basically intelligence again, deals with what, right? Again, it's about your cognition, right? So you being able to think, right? So artificial intelligence, people actually this deals with mimicking the same human nature, the same intelligent human nature, right? Again, through what? Digital devices, right? So artificial intelligence is all about that. So if we go in depth, there are different concepts, right? So specifically, you have things like ML, right? Machine learning, right? Again, if you go in depth, there's deep learning, right? And there's lot again. This again is a very broad area, and So that is about that. I will not speak much about artificial intelligence and all that, given that we'll have to discuss this at a grounding level. But still, this again is a very broad area. If you again, come to industries like data science and AI, right? So that is that. So next up, we have cloud computing. You know what cloud computing is? What is cloud computing? Cloud computing deals with what? Right? I'll leave answer number B for a moment. Right? What is cloud computing? So cloud computing deals with what? Again, cloud computing is all about what? Data. Right? So what is it? It is what? On-demand delivery of ICT services over the internet. Very simple, right? So not really aligning with our question, right? So what is augmented reality? Now this is about what this again. This is all about augmenting digital media in the real world, in real spaces, right? So on the other hand, we have virtual reality, which again is an immersive technology, right? Where it deals with what getting yourself immersed into digital reality. But augmented reality discusses about augmenting what digital media into uh, physical space into the real world, right? Again, through a digital paradigm, right? So next up, 3D printing. This, of course, you know what 3D printing is all about, right? So you actually have 3D printed houses as well, right? So as of now, right? Again, if you are really tech savvy, right? You are the tech savvy generation, right? So you should be aware of that as well. So finally, we have blockchain, right? So this is this is the relevant answer, right? So blockchain, people, again, is a very popular technology, right? So blockchain, it's it's a decentralized ledger system, right? So which will ensure transparency and also this will also ensure security in digital transactions. But now blockchain, this technology is not only used in digital finance, right? So there are different applications of blockchain. You use this in smart contracts. You use this in what in registering different again you use this as part of different information systems in smart contracts. You use this in cryptocurrencies, right? So specifically again if you are aware of cryptocurrencies, things like Bitcoin, right? You know Ethereum, Dogecoin, all that, right? You should be familiar with this term, right? So these terms go hand in hand, right? So there's a fair line between blockchain and what uh, cryptocurrencies, right? So this is not only the again this is not the only application of uh, blockchain, right? So you can use it in different other applications as well, but mainly currently blockchain again revolves around cryptocurrencies. So mainly they ensure this security by maintaining a decentralized ledger, right? So these areas are again we really can't discuss the science behind these areas at your level, so I will keep things at the ground level. So basically, I will tell you, right? So how they are maintaining this. So there's a cryptographic hashing mechanism that is used in blockchains, right, to ensure that again everything is transparent and there is security, right? So that is the technology that they are using. So make sure you keep these things in mind, these terms specifically. Again, put this to your head, right? In case you come across with questions like these, right? So use the keywords what filter out the most appropriate answer, right? So with that said, we are moving on to question number 10, right? So what is a notable characteristic of synchronous dynamic random access memory, SD-RAM, and distinguish it from traditional DRAM? What do you think? Right? So for this, you should be aware of DRAMs, you should be aware of SRAMs, and you should be aware of the synchronous synchronization, between what dynamic RAMs, right, along with the system clock. So what do you think? Right, so we have five answers here. So slow access times, lack of synchronization with the system clock, non-volatile storage, automatic data refreshing, synchronization with the system clock for improved performance. What do you think? Five answers. What do you think? Right. So first of all, you should know what DRAMs are. Next, you will have to know what SRAMs are. Then you will have to know what SDRAMs are. Right. So starting off with SRAMs, static RAMs. Again, what are some key crucial characteristics, some traits of SRAMs, static RAMs. What are some crucial characteristics of SRAMs? Static RAMs, right? Again, you know static RAMs are again, what are they made with? They are made with what? Again, mainly the principal component is what? The principal component is a transistor, right? Right? So the principal component is a transistor, right? Transistors are again, these components they are so expensive, right? Again, so it's really it's really expensive, as well as in terms of processing. What do you think about access times? Compared to dynamic RAMs, dynamic RAMs are again the principal component is capacitors. So what do you think about with again static RAMs compared with dynamic RAMs, right? So let me share again a small with you, right? Hope you can see this. basically we have right, three different types of RAM. We have dynamic RAM, we have static RAMs, and we have SD RAMs. Right. So moving, I'll quickly discuss these areas. So dynamic random access memory. Some of the notable characteristics of DRAMs I have listed down here. Right. So one of the key crucial characteristic of dynamic RAMs again, is the ability to what, store again large number of bits, or else it can again it can what, store a lot of data, right, within them, given that they are made of what, again, the principal component being what, a capacitor, right? So capacitors are placed in a matrix like structure, right? So a capacitor matrix is made thereon, these what these this component is manufactured in that manner, right? So this again is discussed at grounding level. Please note that now there can be students from the common stream, following combined maths, following physics, along with IT. For them, this again, might be very simple, but again, note that there are students from other streams as well. So this curriculum is made again, with aligned to all those people as well, right? So and again, it mainly the key highlight is the memory density, right? Right. So the memory density is really high, which means what, right? For you to have a large capacity, right, you will require what? More physical. Again, the physical size will increase with that, right? And one more notable characteristic is, now capacitors should be what, periodically refreshed. You will have to what, refresh these capacitors by providing what, voltages from time to time, given that they will drain out very quickly, at a time interval, right? So these are the notable characteristics, but those limitations you don't really see them with static random access memory with transistors coming in place, right? So static random access memory, the principal component is again what is transistors, right? And they're super instantaneous, right? Given that there is no need of periodical refreshing, and also they're super efficient compared to dynamic random access memory, right? But still, these components, right, although they are super efficient, you don't really see components like main memory being manufactured with what, with with SRAMs, with static RAMs. Instead, you see components like the cache of your CPU, and the CPU again, they again, those components are again, manufactured with SRAMs. So uses the principal component is capa- principal component is a capacitor, but still, right? Now there is some speciality of this, right? So this memory again, it's synced with the system clock. There's a clock generator in your CPU, so that again is synced with what? That again is synced with this memory. So that is what that is. So we'll quickly move on to the paper to discuss this question. Right? Hope you all can see the paper on your end. Right? So what is a notable characteristic of synchronous dynamic random access memory that distinguishes it from traditional DRAM? Right? Is it slow access time? Not really. Right? So there is slow access time again, with synchronous dynamic random access memory. If you compare this with SRAMs, so not this, right? Lack of synchronization with the system clock. Lack. This doesn't lack anything, right? We have to understand that, right? So not this, right? Non-volatile storage. No, right? We are not discussing about specifics. We are not discussing about specific components here. Not that, right? Automatic data refreshing. Okay, we'll leave that. Synchronization with now automatic data refreshing, right? So now this is they are in DRAMs, yes, but what are they discussing? They are discussing synchronous dynamic random access memory. Of course, yes, DRAMs again, since SD ranks are D ranks, right? So this is not a notable characteristic; it's a generic characteristic, right? So next up, synchronization with the system clock for improved performance, right? Now, why is it synced with the system clock? Again, to what? Again, to bring that process efficiency, right? So that is the notable characteristic. Because your answer is E, right? Yes, right. So now next up we have arranged again a small quiz, just to bring that competitiveness, just to bring that edge in this seminar, to see how you are performing, to see how well you have prepped yourself. So we have arranged a small quiz. So we'll be sharing the quiz in a minute, right? So you all can answer the questions, right? So those questions again, people will not be discussed, right? Here, given that we have a time constraint, the answers will be shared on your group in a couple of days, right? Right. The marking scheme will also be provided, right? So that we are dealing on our end, right? So you don't have to worry about that. We are providing you with the marking scheme as well as the paper, right? So that's uh, about that. So hope we can start the quiz in a couple of minutes. Are we good to go? Right? So you will see a quiz on your end, right? So yes, simply what you need to we'll give you the instructions in a minute. Once we start, again, you will see a quiz on your screen. So we'll provide you with the instructions in a minute. Yes, people now, we have shared again the quiz with you all. So what you need to do is, you will have to head on to mentimeter.com, and you will have to use this code, right, to sign up for the game, right, to sign up for the quiz. So simply head on to mentimeter.com, or else again scan the QR code. I think now so again, simply head on to mentimedia.com. Use this code to again to what to sign up again, with the quiz, right? So tell me once you're done. We can start. We'll start in a couple of minutes. Right. So we have 10 players. I think we're good to start. Yes. Let's go. Yes. So I can see a question now, right? You have a couple of minutes to answer. You have 1 minute to answer, right? There's a countdown going. Yes, right. So there will also be there will be a leaderboard. So at the end of the day, basically what we are doing is, the one again, who is going to score the most marks, will be again, will be awarded, right? So we have arranged a small gift. So we'll be again we'll be planning to deliver this little gift again, to your doorstep. So yes, so make sure you are again, make sure you stay there until we are done with the quiz. Okay, so you can see the answer on the screen, right? Uh, so yes, right. So we are not planning to discuss this, right? So we have participants, so we can see the scores. Yes, right. Okay, all right. So we'll proceed with the questions, people. Right. Hope you can see the screen. Right. So we'll proceed with the next question. During the fetch execute cycle, where are the instructions stored temporarily before being executed by the CPU in von Neumann architecture? Right. So not going to discuss these areas a lot. You know what von Neumann architecture is, right? So you know what von Neumann architecture is. You know what fetch execute cycle is. Again, from unit one. These are very basic areas. Fetch. Fetch, decode, execute, right? Right. So the instruction will be fetched from will be fetched initially from program counter from PC, right? Then that will be decoded by the control unit. Finally, right? execution will be done by the arithmetic logic unit. Fine, the program count will be increased by 1. So that is what happens. So mainly current now after decoding, right? So basically in this case, where are the instructions so temporarily before being executed by the CPU. So after being decoded by the CU, the control unit, temporarily this instruction will be stored in the instruction register, right? So this is your answer, right? So memory buffer, this again, this is used to again, store data, that is being again transmitted, right? So control unit, what this does again. These are very simple areas. So given that these are very basic areas, I'm not going to elaborate more on this, given that we have a lot of questions to discuss, right? So moving on to the next question. In a multitasking operating system, what does the term context switching refer to? Come on. Yes, can you fade the screen? In a multitasking operating system, what does the term context switching refer to? Right? Switching from one application to another, allocating memory to different programs, saving and loading state of process when switching between tasks, managing disk space applications, allocating CPU time based on priority. What is this? Come on. Yes, can I see answers? Okay, we have a couple of answers, right? So in a multitasking operating system, right? So multitasking operating system, that is the context, right? What the concept is context switching. So that is what they are referring to. So switching from one application. This is again, it's just what conveniently, you switching across different applications. There is no specific term for it. It's just it's just you switching between applications. No, this is not what we are looking at. Allocating memory to different programs. This is memory management, right? One of the crucial areas that we are discussing on operating systems. No, this is not your answer. That's what they're referring to context switching. Saving and loading the states of a process when switching between tasks. Now, context switching appears in what? Appears where? Right? So, this term appears in the process management part, where we will be discussing how different states, how the operating system, switches between different states. So that is what is being discussed here, right? So context basic people, right, discuss about saving and loading the states of a process, right? So what really happens is the context is being the state of a process or the context, right? So you can use these words interchangeably, state, context, right? Both these terms are again you can use them interchangeably. There is no harm in you using the word state, the word context, right? So it's again it's up to you to go with any of these. Context switching discusses about switching the context, or else what? Again, specifically storing the current context of uh, of a process in a process control block, and what? Again, retrieving another process, right, from a process control block, and switching between those. So that is the idea, right? So what is your answer? Your answer should be C, saving and loading state of a process when switching between tasks, right? So good to see you all answering, right? Yes, right. So managing this space for applications, no, right? Allocating CPU based on priority. Now these falls under scheduling algorithms. So priority based scheduling. Again, it comes under scheduling, right? So it comes under non-preemptive scheduling. Right, so it comes under non-preemptive scheduling, so not this. Right. Moving on. Right. Now this question is from your database chapter. In an ER diagram, what does the double oval represent? Come on. Right. So first of all, you should know what an oval is, right? So now again, don't make me teach you all what, right? So now you're not again a 6-year-old, you're not a 10-year-old. Your circles should be circles, your ovals should be ovals, right? So circles, ovals, right? So different shapes, right? So make sure you have better understanding of this and you have better understanding, right? That in terms of with regards to ER diagram, right? So people, just tell me what an ER diagram is. Come on. What an entity relationship diagram is. What does it do? What is it about? Right? So ER diagrams, people, right? They are two things. Or else what? It's a conceptual design that is used when what? When you are what? When you're constructing databases, right? So that is the idea, right? So there we basically have different shapes, representing, depicting different stuff. So the double oval symbol is used to represent what? So this is the double oval. You even have double rectangle. Double rectangle represents weak entities, right? Whereas double oval represents what? Is it a weak entity? No, right? Weak entities are represented with what? Double rectangle, right? Multiple attributes, I don't know, right? Just tell me what's happening, right? Derived attributes. For derived attributes, what are we using, people? Derived attributes. Just tell me. Derived attributes, right? Tell me an example for derived attributes, right? So using what? A dash over, right? So derived attributes, right? Key attribute again, right? What you do is uh, again you have the attribute, and what you do is you will have to what? Underline it, right? So that is key attribute. Relationship, no, you are using what? Right? You're using what? A rhombus, right? So not that. So what is your answer? It's multi-valued attributes, right? So hope you know example. Just go through with some examples as well, right? So what is a weak entity? So a weak entity again, if an entity again, there are no enough and no what attributes to identify the entity on its own, right? Those entities are again, regarded as what? Weak entities. Then again, multi-valued attributes again, right? Now we are discussing this under normalization. So under normalization, right? Right. So we discussed this, right? So under first normalization or normalization 4, right? Uh, it is essential what? For a what? For an attribute to be what? For an attribute to be what? For an attribute to be atomic, right? So multi-valued attributes are again what? Multi-valued attributes are attributes with what? Right? With non-atomic what? Right? Values, right? So it has multiple values, right? So that is that people. So the answer is multi-valued attributes. So derived attributes are attributes that are derived from another attribute, right? For an example, right? Your age is derived with what? Right? Your date of birth. So age, you have age, right? Then now this age is derived from what? This is derived from what? From date of birth. Now I'm not drawing a ER diagram here. I'm just showing you the representation, right? From what? From date of birth. Hope you understood. Right? Moving on. So in the context of ER diagram, what is the weak entity? I just discussed an entity with a primary key composed of two or more attributes. No. What is this? An entity with a primary key composed of two or more attributes. Right? What are these? Right? So again, they are discussing about what? What do you think the answer is? What do you think the answer is? An entity with a primary key composed of two or more attributes. An entity that does not have a unique identifier. An entity that is dependent on another entity and does not have a primary key on its own. Right? An entity that participates in a many-to-many relationship. Or none of the above. What is it? An entity with a primary key composed of two or more attributes. No, not this. Right? This is not your answer. An entity that does not have a unique identifier. What do you think? An entity that does not have a unique identifier. Yes. What do you think? Right? Then we have an entity that is dependent on another entity and does not have a primary key on its own. Right? Now this is somewhat okay. You remember I told you at the very beginning, an entity that does not have a unique identifier. True. But listen, right? So if you come to the next choice, right, you can see, right? Now they have filled the phrase, right? An entity that is dependent on another entity and does not have private key on its own. Now this, is more complete. This is correct, but this again is the most appropriate, the most correct answer. Hope you got my point, right? An entity that participates in many-to-many relationships. No, not this, right? None of the above. No, we have right choice here. That is your answer, right? Moving ahead, right? Which of the following statements about database normalization is correct? Third normal form, 3NF is always sufficient for achieving a fully normalized database. True or false? Is 3NF enough for you to what? Again, to what? Achieve a fully normalized database. True or false? Come on. Is it enough? What do you think? Not really, right? So you now at your level, we are only discussing 0 and f, right? Unnormalized form. We are discussing 0 and f. We are discussing 1 and f, right? First normal form. We are discussing 2 and f. That is second normal form. We are discussing 3 and f. That is the third normal form. But still, there are different forms. Right? There are different normalized forms, right? So now, database normalization deals with what? Again, right? So database normalization is all about decomposing what? Decomposing, you know, these uh, these databases again to what? Again to what? Increase the efficiency and minimize what? Right? Data anomaly. Right. So there is deletion anomaly, there is insertion anomaly, and as well as update anomaly. Right. Moving ahead, first normal form eliminates repeating groups of data. True. Right. Now that is somewhat okay. Repeating groups are eliminated. eliminate repeating groups in 1NF or in 0NF. You remove what? Repeating groups in 0NF. So this is wrong, right? So this is wrong, right? You remove what? Repeating groups in 0NF, right? Denormalization is always preferred over normalization for performance reasons. Is it true or false? What do you prefer? Normalize or denormalize data, right? Now, what do you prefer right now? Let's say there's a neighbor, right? Having what? Having your name, right? So you or else have something else, right? Right now, imagine there's again, there is a field, right? With what? With multiple values in it, right? You have X, Y, and Z values, right? Let's say this is A, B, C column, right? Now this is not normal, you know, right? Right? It's a multiple attribute, right? So what do you prefer? Do you prefer something like this or what? A normalized version, something else? You have removed repeating rules, you have removed multivalent attributes, you have you have eliminated dependencies, you have eliminated what partial dependencies. What do you prefer? You of course prefer what? A normalized, so not this, right? Then we have voice code normal form is less strict form of normalization compared to second normal form. No, right? So voice code normal comes after third normalization. So third normalization form, right? So you will have to go from 2NF to 3NF, then you will have to proceed with BCNF, right? So of course this is not your right answer. This is wrong, right? So voice code normalization comes as a preceding normalization method, normalization form after the second normal form, right? So what do you think? What do you think is the answer here? The answer is E people, none of the above. Right? Okay, right? You can proceed. Right? Next, people, now we are moving on to the next question. In relational model, what does a foreign key represent? An attribute that uniquely identifies a record in a table. No, this is the primary key. This is primary key, right? A key that uniquely identifies a record in another table. Okay. A primary key that is shared among multiple tables. An attribute that can have multiple values. None of the above. What do you think? The answer is B, right? A key that uniquely identifies a record in another table, right? So primary key of another table becomes a foreign key. So that is your answer. Right? Very simple questions. Right? Next up, from operating systems, virtual memory is a technique used to extend physical memory using hard disk space, improve CPU speed, increase hard disk storage, manage power consumption, enable faster data transfer between processes. What do you think? What do you think? Come on. Right? So it's very simple. People know virtual memory. Again, this comes in operating system. So your virtual memory is not used to improve CPU speed, right? It's not again, increases hard disk storage. What happens is, it decreases usable hard disk storage, given that a certain portion will be allocated to the memory. That is the whole idea of virtual memory. Manage power consumption, no bullshit, right? Enable faster data transfer between processes, no, right? So what is your answer? It's what? It extends physical memory using hard disk space, right? So very simple. These are simple areas, right? We'll spend more time on question where we have to spend a lot of time. So again, a very simple question, you all can answer, right? Which of the following is part of data manipulation language, DML, right? So you know you have data manipulation language, you have data query language, DQL, you have data what you have DDL, right? So and you have DQL, you have DML, so you have more, right? So now they are referring to data manipulation language, right? So tell me, what is it? Very simple. Yes, insert, right? It's insert. Now these are very simple areas, guys, right? So basics, right? So now in your exam also you will come across with questions like these, right? Given that now uh, so that is done, right? So which of the following is the correct answer connecting column A and column B in the table given below? Yes, come on. So we have composite attribute, we have simple attribute, we have multi-valued attribute, we have derived attribute. What do you think? Right? So we'll match the columns, right? Composite attribute, right? Now we'll start off with simple attribute, right? We'll start off with a simple. We'll read the other end, an attribute that cannot be broken down into smaller components. So that becomes what? A simple attribute, right? So multi-valued attributes, an attribute whose value can be calculated from an attribute that can be broken down into components, right? An attribute that may take on more than one value related to attribute value. So this is your answer, right? Very simple, right? An attribute that can be broken down into components. Now that becomes composite attributes, right? So you can break these attributes into parts, right? For an example, your name. Right? So your full name you can bifurcate into what? Right? Your first name, your middle name, your last name. So that people, right? So that is that. Then finally, derived attributes are again what? Attributes whose value can be calculated from, right? For an example, age from your date of birth, right? Done. Right? So see what is the answer, right? What is the answer, people, in that case, right? So first one is B, right? Yes, okay. Simple attribute, it's A, okay. Multi-valued attribute, it's D, okay. Derived attribute, it's C, right? So your correct answer is what? Your correct answer is it's the fourth answer, right? Which of the following is correct about relational database keys? Right? Very simple once again. Which of the following is correct about relational database keys? Composite key can be a primary key. Right? A primary key is chosen from alternate keys. A primary key is chosen from foreign keys. Candidate key is called foreign key. Another name for alternate key is foreign key. What do you think? chosen from alternate keys? No. Primary keys are chosen from candidate keys, right? So it's chosen from candidate keys. A primary key is chosen from foreign keys, true or false, right? So this can be true, right? Now you know foreign key will become the primary key again. You know can become a primary key of another table, right? So this again is true. Candidate key is also called foreign key. No, not really, right? Another name for alternate key is foreign key. No, now irrelevant answers again. Composite key can be a primary key. Now composite attributes or composite keys are again with what? Again that you can break these these keys again into different parts. So again now primary keys, right? So under the traits of primary keys it should be unique, right? It should be atomic, right? So it doesn't serve the purpose. So what is the answer, people? A primary key is chosen from foreign keys. Now that cannot be an answer as well, right? It can be yes. What do you all think? Yes, composite key can be a primary key. No, right? So this is the idea, people, right? So you are again, you can obtain a foreign key, and you can make that as the primary key of another table. So that is the idea. Right? Hope you understood. Right? So we'll proceed now. These are simple areas, basics. Right? So next up, we are moving on to an SQL question. Consider the following table. Right? So you have a table. Right? So this is what the table looks like. Uh, you have four columns: customer ID, customer name, address, city. Right? So there are six records. So you can take a look at the table. Next up, what they are asking us is which of the following SQL is applied to above table in order to obtain the result given below. Right? Now this is the result count. Right? So they have got the count of the customer IDs. Next to it, we have the city column along with a few cities. Right? So what do you think? Right? So you will have to again, first of all, you will have to pay attention to this, the table. Right? So you will have to observe the table. You will have to look what the records are, and you will have to have better understanding about that. Then you can proceed with what? Proceed with what? The extraction. So what do you think? Do we have an answer? Right? Yes. Can someone tell me the query? Right? So you can see select customer ID city from customer. What do you think? Right? Not the first one, of course, right? So you can see, right? So there is, they have used, right? So they have got again, the aggregate, the count of the aggregate, right? So they have used count here, right? So here in this case, in terms of the first case, no, this can't be because they have missed count here. They have missed the count function, right? So not this, right? So then and there you can eliminate this, right? So next, select count customer ID, right, comma city from customers group by customer ID. Now this seems okay, right? Let's see, right? Next, select count customer ID city from customers order by, right? Now this is the error here, right? So now we really can't use order by here. What is the reason? Right? So we are not, dealing with some certain order. Now we are not trying to, what order the data. What we are trying to do is, we are trying to group the data. Right? Understood? Yes. So that can't be an answer. Not this. Not this. Right? Select count. Right? From again, customer ID. That is the column that we are referring to. Right? Then they have used count against the city, which is wrong again, right? What we are trying to do is, we are trying to get, again, we are trying to what? Filter people from different cities. Again, we are trying to, get the counts of those, again, as what? As customer IDs. So, again, wrong use of the function, right? Select count customer ID city from customer group them by what? What should we do? Right? We need to group them by what? We need to group them by what? We need to group them by the city. Right? Right? Understood, people? Right? Now, in this case, now they have missed again. Right? So you will have to group them by the customer ID. Right? So here they have grouped by what? The city. Right? So that is your answer. Moving on. Right? Consider the following customer data table. Now we are going to deal with normalization here. Right? So yes, tell me. I want answers. Right? Now we have this is again this is the logical schema. You have customer ID, customer name, customer address, spouse name, spouse phone. Right? The following functional dependencies are right. So customer name is functionally dependent on customer ID. Customer address is functionally dependent on customer ID. Spouse name, spouse phone, they are depending upon customer ID. Also, they have shown you. Look, spouse phone is depending on spouse name. Now look, they are non-key attributes. Non-key attribute depending on another non-key attribute. What is this called? You call it a transitional dependency. Right? What do you call this? You call it a transitional dependency. So, what normal form should this be? Right? So, where do you find transitive dependencies? You find transitive dependencies where? In second normal form, right? You find transitive dependencies in second normal form, but when you are going from second normal form to third normal form, right? You are eliminating them. So of course you will find transitive dependencies in second normal form, but you have eliminated transitive dependencies in the 3 and F, in the third normal form. So of course your answer should be 2 and F. Very simple, right? Now these areas, people, again, they were part of your syllabus, right? So again, these are not again new stuff to you. Again, you have learned this back in school. You have learned this in your theory classes. You have learned this in your revision classes. You have done a lot of papers. You have discussed model papers. You have done this. You have done that, right? So should be again, you should be sound. You should be solid with these areas. So we'll proceed with the next question. So we are dealing with the 23rd question. What is the result of the following SQL query? Come on. Select count distinct column, right, from table where column 2 is greater than select, then there's another query, right? Now this people, we call this a sub-query. This is the main query, this is the sub-query, right? So first of all, you will have to deal with the sub-query, right? So we'll deal with the sub-query. Select average column 3 from table 2, right? So what are they trying to do? They are trying to deal with what? They're trying to what? Obtain the average of what? Column 2, right? So they will obtain the average of column 2, right? So they will get the average here, right? They will get the average of column 2, and now that is again, you see, now there's a conditional statement here. Column 2 should be greater than the average of what? Column 3, right? That is the idea here, right? So they are going to what? Filter out all records whose what? Whose average of the column 3 is greater than what? The column 2, right? So now that should be what? Now they are going to get the count, right? So what is the answer, people? What do you think? It's very simple. Now this will not generate an error. Again, this is correct, right? You have line terminators. They have, again, this is syntactically correct, right? So they have used the functions appropriately. So what do you think? So count of distinct values in column, not zero, no, not this. Count of distinct values in column 1. Count of rows in table 1. Sum of values in column 1. Not the sum of values. Right? Right? So we are going to get what? The count of rows in table 1, is it? What is it? Yes, tell me. Count of distinct values in column 1. Or count of rows in table 1. What do you think? Right? They are simply asking you about yeah here. Right? So they are going to what? Get the distinct values, right? Sum of values in column 1? Is it? No, right? Count of rows in table 1. Yes, count of rows, that is true. In table 1. Right? From table 1. Okay, fine. Right, so you see, they're trying to what? Right? Obtain distinct values, right? So what do you think, people? Yes? Can I have an answer? Right? Should be what? Should be C, right? Should be C, right? Not just the count, right? So look, they are again, they have used the word here. Look at this word distinct, right? So from that you can spot, right? Again, a very simple SQL query, right? Select column 1 from table 1, group by column 1, having count, right? So now this thing is interesting, right? Uh, right? So this thing is interesting, right? Yes. Can I see an answer first? What do you think? What do you think, people? Come on, right? Retrieves distinct values of column 1, okay. Find sum of values in column 1. Identify rows with duplicate values in column 1. Group rows by column 1 and calculate the average. Right? Error. No. This is syntactically correct. Right? There is no error in this. Right? So they have used, they have written this, this is syntactically correct. So select column 1. They are going to select column 1 from table 1. Then they are going to group it by column 1. Okay. Having count, okay, greater than 1. Right? So identifies rows with duplicate values in column 1. Group rows by what? Column 1 and calculate the average. No. Find sum of values in what? In column 1. Right? So you see, right? So what they are trying to do is, they are trying to what? Right? So they are trying to what? They are trying to extract, right, values from column 1 from table 1, right? So and they are going to group this with what? They are going to group this with what? They are going to group this with what? They are going to group this again. They are going to group this with what? They're going to group this with what? The count, they're going to group, with the count, count, greater than 1, right? So they are going to eliminate, right, what they are trying to eliminate, right? So anything that is less than that, right? So what do you think is the answer? No, they are not going to find the sum of values in column 1, right? So identifies rows with duplicate values in column 1, right? Group rows by column 1 and calculates the average. Not really, right? So not an error, not D, not E, right? Find the values, find the sum, not B as well. values of column 1, and we have C identifies rows with duplicate values in column 1. What do you think? What do you think, people? Yes. Come on. Right? So retrieves distinct values of column 1. Okay, right? So they are trying to retrieve distinct values, and they are also what? They are also trying to what? Eliminate what? Right? So you know what? They are trying to eliminate what? Again, now columns again, records with zero count, which means what? They are trying to what? They are trying to what? They are trying to retrieve what? Distinct values of column 1, right? Understood or not? Right? So they are not trying to identify rows with duplicate values, right? So for that, they will have to use the distinct function. So what they are doing is, they are trying to do this, right? So hope that is clear, right? So this thing is a little advanced, right? So you all can mark this down, right? You can try this later, with SQL, right? Hope you all have installed the MySQL server along with uh, the essential the essential the essentials, right? So next up, consider the following query. Select top one column one from table one. Order by new ID. What do you think? Very simple one. What does this query do? Right? Retrieves first row from table one. Randomly selects one row from table one. No. Right? Not this. Right? Orders the result in ascending order. Okay. Retrieves the last row from the table. No. Right? Error, no, this is syntactically correct, right? So this table, what, right? So will what retrieves the first row from the table, very simple, right? Another SQL question, right? Select distinct column 1 from table 1 where column 1 is not null, right? And column 2, again, you have a subquery, right? So you'll have to deal with this. Select column 2 from table 1 where column 1 is null, right? So what are they trying to do? Select column 2 from table 1 where column 1 is null, right? So they are trying to what? They are trying to select this, right? Where column 1 y, now let's say y is null, right? They're trying to select, column 1 where they're trying to select column 2 where the corresponding column 1 is null, right? We have empty records, right? So that again, right? Now you see, now there are a lot of wildcards being used, right? So where column 1 is not null and column 2 in that, right? So in this subquery, right? So select this thing, right? So what do you think? Error? No, right? Distinct values of column 1 where column 1 is not null, right? Distinct values of column 1 where column 2 is not null. No, column 2 is null. No, not this, right? Column 2, we are not dealing with this, right? Distinct values of column 1 where column 2 matches null values in another row. No, right? We are dealing with column 1. Wait. Okay. Distinct values of column 1 where column 2 matches column 2 matches null values in another row. What do you think? And of course, this is not your answer. No row, right? So this will again filter out answers given that this is syntactically correct, right? So no error, right? So answer E is not your answer. Distinct values of column 1 where column 1 is not null. Distinct values of column 1 where column 1 is not null. No, here they are checking for null. So not this. values of column 1 where column 2 is null. Right? So what is your answer? Right? It's what? Distinct values from column 1 where column 2 matches null value in another row. Right? So in another row is column 1. Right? Understood or not? Yes, people. Now, these are again, a bit advanced queries, right? So, given that this is a model paper, right? So, you can literally check this at home, right? Given that we have a time constraint, we don't really have a lot of time, right? So, we will have to quickly discuss all these questions, right? So, consider the following table, right? Now, again, this is a very simple question paper. We just discussed questions like this. So, what is the answer? I'm not going to answer this. You can give me your answer. Right? We just discussed the very same question now. What do you think? Right? So they are going to what? Select product ID. They are going to select these columns. Product ID, count, and count of distinct count of sales data. Right? So this column, right, as num sales data from sales. Right? So sales is the table as num sales. Now this is an alias, right? So group by product ID having count distinct sales data that is greater than 1. What is it? Right? Okay. Tell me, people. Right? So I'll leave that for you all. Right? Uh, right? So write this query. Right? So create a table. Execute this. Given that I discussed, I think 5 to 6 questions from this very same area. I will not be spending a lot of time, discussing all this because all these functions I've discussed in the previous question. Again, it's again, it's the matter of time constraint. Yes. So we're going to move with Python, right? So one of the interesting areas. Uh, Again, one of the key areas. Again, going ahead with again, again, if you are planning to go for an A pass, if you are trying to ace this exam, right? It is so essential that you what? It is so essential that you pass. We have a data structure. What is this data structure? It's a list, right? So you see values separated with commas, right? Then now here we have a variable called result, right? Variable result is assigned with the list uh, nums again, but there is an indexing, right? So they have given again, they have referenced the -3 indexing here. So negative indexing is happening here, right? So basically now you have values 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? So now these are the values, right? So now these values are assigned with indexes like these people, starting from 0, right? 3 and 4, right? And also, right, now this is positive indexing. You can do negative indexing as well, right? So if you go the other way around, right? So -1 will be this, -2 will be this, and -3 will be this. So your answer is what? Your answer is 3. It is the first one, right? Very simple. Now these are simple areas, right? So next thing, now this also a very simple question. How do you add a new key value pair to a diction in Python? Can you use append? Yes. Can I see answers? you add a new key value pair to a dictionary, right? So simply it's this people, right? Dict, right? You're going to what? Again, you're going to what? You're going to tell what the key is, right? And you're going to assign the corresponding value to the respective key, right? So if the key is a string, you will have to enclose that with what? You will have to enclose it with what? You will have to enclose that with double quotations or single quotations. If the key again takes another data type, you will have to take other measures, right? So if that's an integer, again totally fine, but right, hope you know, right? So keys should be unique, whereas what values can again repeat, right? So next we have another interesting data structure, sets, right? So now we have a set operation here, right? So we have three variables, A assigned with a set, B assigned with another set, right? So with values 4, 5, 6 assigned to the B set, and values 1, 2, 3 assigned to the variable A. Another variable called C that is assigned with A dot union B, right? So here we have a set operation. So again, right, your O-level mathematics matters here a lot, right? So set operations, I think you have dealt with this area, right? So you know your unions, you know your intersections, you know your complements, you know how they work. So I don't really need again. Right, to explain this. So you know what union is, right? So what is union? What is union? What is union? Right? So union again, it's what? It's a combination of both the sets, right? It's you joining things. Yes, exactly. Right? So now in this case, if you have right, so now two sets will be merged, right? Given that this again is a mutable object, right? Right? You can merge them. So this is your answer, right? So A union, right? What if I have given A intersection B? In that case, what will happen? Now these are a little advanced people. They don't really test you on sets, but still you need to know a few of these, right? So taking the common, exactly, yes, right? Just like the set operations, right? Very simple. Moving on, right? Next up, we have an interesting question. We have Python function. So we have a function defined as factorial. Then we have a parameter, right? We have a parameter within the function that is n, right? You have an argument here. The argument is n, right? So then we have a few conditional statements, right? If n equals to 0, right, return 1, else return n, return factorial n minus 1, right? The product of it, again you will have to return, right? N, again product of what? Factorial n minus 1. So now this again, now this is an interesting area, right? So this is I don't know whether you have learned recursion or not, right? But yes, we'll deal with this. We'll not discuss about those advanced programming areas. I will just show you how the operation happens, right? So first of all, you will have to have the domain knowledge. You will have to know what factorials are, right? So later on, you can deal with the rest of the areas, right? So in this case, there is print, right? So now there's a function called here, right? The function has been called factorial, right? Now this argument will be assigned to this n, right? So you know, right, the rules, right? The syntactical rules, right? So the number of arguments should match, right? Or else we have other ways of doing this, but that is not discussed at your level, right? So this argument should match, right? Next up, we have a conditional statement. If n equals to 0, return 1, right? Now, if n, right, the value that is passed to the function, right, if that is equals to 0. Is 5 equals to 0? No. Right? So of course this won't be executed. Right? So then we have an else block. Right? Else return n product of factorial n minus 1. You see, you have a function inside a function. You have a function inside another function. Right? So a function, right? So there's an inner function. Right? So functions, another function has been nested inside the function. Right? So what will happen, people? This function will be called again, right? But the n again, this time on the argument will be passed as what? N will be what? N will be reduced by 1, right? So n will be 4 here, right? So again, this same thing repeats. So what will happen, right? So we will have 5, we will have 4, we will have 2, and we will have 1, right? So this is the factorial of 5. 5 into 4, it's 20, right? 20 into 2, it's 40. 40 into 1, right? Sorry, my bad. I missed, again, I missed digit. 3 into 2 into 1, okay. 5 into 4, 20. 20 into 3, 60. 60 into 2, 120. 120 into 1, 120, right? So your answer will be 120, right? Right, so you have again, now this function will be called, right, until this becomes 0, there will be 0 as well. No, so until this becomes 1, this will be running. Finally, you're going to end up with what? I hope you can see the iterations, right, on screen. Can you? Yeah, right. Maybe something's wrong on your end. Maybe I think we have shared the screen. Next up, which method is used to return an iterator in Python? Very simple, because it's what? It's an iter, right? So this is the function that will return what? An iterator in Python, something new, right? So add this again to your knowledge, right? So the iter function is used to what? Return an iter, right? So that is done. Next up, what is the output of the following Python code, right? So again we have a list, right? We have a list 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? So these are the values. Then again we have a list comprehension, right? So we have a list comprehension, right? So there's a for loop inside this. We'll see how this works, right? So you have x. You know what x is? X is a variable, right? So then you're going to deal with the for loop first. Right? You're going to deal with the for loop first, right? For x in my list, x modulus 2 not equals to 0, right? So x will be assigned, right? Now x will be assigned with these values, right? The values that is present on the list, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. These values will be assigned to the x variable, right? And now this variable, now for an example, you will be starting off with 1, right? Then, right, you will be obtaining the modulus, right? Modulus 2, right? So then you are going to check if this is equals to 0. You are going to check if this is not equals to 0, right? You are going to check if this is not equals to 0, right? Not equals to 0, which means what, right? Now this comprehension is going to filter out values, right, whose remainder is not equal to 0, which means the remainder should be what? The remainder should be 1, people, because when you divide a number by 2, right, there are only chances of you getting the remainder as a 0 or as 1, right? There are only 2 chances, right? So it's either 0, if not it's 1, right? So now, which means what? What are they trying to do? They are trying to filter out the odd numbers here, right? So now they have filtered out the odd numbers. So you will be getting a list of odd numbers, right? So you will be getting a list of odd numbers 3, 4, 5. Sorry, 1, 3, 5, right? 1, comma 3, comma 5. These are the odd numbers that you will be getting. And now these numbers again, will be assigned to x, and what will happen here? X to the product 3, right? So now x will be assigned with these numbers again, right? So x 1 into 3, 3 into 3, and 5 into 3, right? This is 3, this is 9, this is 15. But you see, all these are happening, within a list. So finally, your output will be inside what? A list. Very simple, right? Your answer is the first one. Right? Now these are explicit answers, people. You don't have to check whether it's the second one is correct, whether you are going with the third one or maybe the fourth one, right? So these are very explicit questions, so you can obtain the right answer in one go itself, right? Now next one, again a very simple. You have a very they're testing you with testing your knowledge with what? String methods, right? So what is the string method that is used again to apply lowercase? What do you think? Right? So very simple. It's what? Text dot lower. Right? Now over here now you see text to lower in PHP. Text dot lowercase. I'm not really sure where you're using this, but all the others again they are irrelevant. In Python it's text dot lower. Right? Moving on. Which function is used to read the entire content of a file into a string in Python? What do you think? Right? Used to read the entire content of a file into a string. Very simple, right? So it's the read function, people. It's the read function, right? You also have the read line function, which will read one single line, but here it's the read function. Very simple, right? So coming with what? File operations, right? What is the output of the following Python code? Again, now these are simple areas. You have a string here assigned to variable x, right? Now, yes, you see, now you have 1, 2, 3. Now these are numbers, but how can you spot a string, right? The double quotes, right? So this is a string, and what they have done, they have assigned this to x, variable x. Later on, they have brought a new variable. They have brought a new variable, and now they have converted it to what? Into integer. Now what are integers? Positive and negative whole numbers, right? Next up, finally, the final instruction, print y plus 2, right? Y plus 2. Now what is y? Y is what? 123, right? Y is 123, right? Plus 2. Now what is this? It's 125. Very simple. Moving on. How do you check if a list in my list is empty in Python? If my list, okay, no, this is again, this is you creating a a non-populated list, right? If len my list equals 0, yes, you can use this, right? If not, my list. Okay, all of the above, not all of the above, not none of the above, not this. You're going to use this, right? If len my list equals 0, right? Any questions, people, so far? No, right? Okay, we are moving on to the 37th question. What is the output of the following Python code? Very simple, right? You have a list. Again, you have nums. Again, now lists are mutable objects. So again, you can make alterations to these data structures. So what will be the output, right? So now nums into 2, right? So what will happen? this will be what? Again, now individual element won't be what? Won't be multiplied. What will happen? The list will be double. That is what will happen. So your answer is what? What is your answer? Right? Your answer is what? What is it? It's B. Very simple. Yes. Right? Which keyword is used to create a generator function in Python? Now these are advanced areas, right? So a generator function is created using what? Right? Not yield, not return. Return is used to return again values from a function. Define is used to define functions, not yield, not produce. It's generator, people. Right? As the name suggests, it's generator. Now these are additional areas you don't need to know what they are. These comes again. We told you this is a model paper. We are again targeting at probable questions. So yes, right? So these are again the questions that we are assuming. Again, those tricky questions that we assume that your examiner will test you, right? Again, if in case he tries to bring that competition in, right? So what is the output of the following Python code? Again, two set operations, right? So x minus y. What do you think? Very simple. Come on. Right? 1, 2, 3. Then you have 2, 3, 4 in assigned a set assigned to variable y. You have variable x assigned with a set having values 1, 2, 3. Right? X minus y. What do you think? So 2 will be eliminated. 3 will be eliminated. 3 will be eliminated. You will be left with 1 and 2. Very simple. Right? How do you create a new file in Python if it does not exist? Now this one's nice, right? Now you have different mods here, right? Different mods, right? So you have the append mod, you have the write mod. Now this is the read mod, this is the write mod, right? So what do you do, people? Now if you use the W mod, right? What happens if there is no if there is no prior existence of a certain file, right? A new file will be created, but this doesn't happen in append in this mod, right? What will happen? This will add, right, to existing file. So what is your answer? Right? Now these are the simple ones, right? It's W, right? In write mode. How do you create a new list that contains only the even numbers from original list numbers? List comprehensions, people. What do you think? How do you create a new list that contains only even numbers? Now you see this list comprehension. 4x in numbers if x modulus 2 equals 0. Now that will obtain what? This will obtain even numbers and that will be assigned to x. Yes. Seems okay. X 4x in numbers if x modulus 2 not equals to 0. No, this will again provide you with odd numbers. List filter. Now there's a lambda function, right? So I will again I will remove this answer from your paper, given that this is a little too tough for you all, right? So lambda functions again it is not discussed at your level. So if you have given answer A, that is correct, right? If you have given answer A, that is correct, because lambda functions we can't discuss here, people, right? So if you are interested, you can again, you can research, right? So you can get assistance, right? So there are enough and more technologies, right, that you can use to again, learn this content, right? So your answer is A, right? Next up, we are moving on to data flow diagrams. Again, this is from yes. So again, I gave you a time to attempt this question. I was not on mute, right? So yes, tell me, right? So this question again is from your systems lesson, right? So DFT0 or else what is this, right? Your context diagram, right? DFT0 or context diagram, right? So what does a rectangle represent? Is it a decision? Is it an external entity? Is it data flow? Is it a system? Is it a process? Come on, basics. What is it? External entity? Right? So external entities are represented with what? Just tell me, how do you represent a process? Yes, external entities are ovals, true. Right? How about decisions? Right? So rectangle divided into three parts. Good job. Yes. What more? Yes. Data flow, yes. Unidirectional arrows for data flows. Good job. Right? So you call it unidirectional arrows, not one-side arrows. Right? So we don't really have decisions here, people, in data flow diagrams. So this is an irrelevant answer. Right? So what do you think? Is it an external entity? Is it a process? Is it a system? Rectangles? What do you think? Give me a solid answer. Right? So it's the what? It's the system, people. Processes, they are indicated over arrows, right? So they are indicated over arrows, right? So not this, right? So we are done with the 40-second question, right? So now we have now there's a quiz happening. So right, so we have few more questions. So we told you that we are going to maintain a leaderboard, and again we'll be what awarding you all at the end of the day. So now we are going to move on to the rest of the questions of the quiz, right? So again, the link will be shared. Again, you all can join and participate in the quiz. So we have 9 more questions to go. So you all can quickly answer. Then we'll discuss the rest of the questions, and we'll again will wind things off. So I encourage all of y'all, I urge all of y'all to participate in the quiz. We'll be sharing the link, right, in a minute. Yes, on the screen, right? So you can scan the QR code, or you can obtain the code from the screen, and you can sign up. Yes, right. So we'll be doing that now. Our technical team is dealing with that. So give us a minute. We'll be dealing with that. And the QR code again, you hit on. Yes, we'll be starting in 3, 2, 1, go. Yes, people, you can attempt the next question. So, question number 4 out of 10 questions. So again, one more I'd like to remind you. So at the end of this quiz, again we'll be selecting the winner, and again you will be awarded a small gift will be sent to your doorstep. So make sure you remain until the end. So it's a very simple question from Python, right? So you have uh, a function, right? So again, should be familiar with these functions, right? Especially the append, right? So you have right a few inbuilt functions as well as yes, right? So it's a super simple question. Let's see. So yes, people, now we are in the ninth question. We have one more question to go. Let's see who wins this today. Right. So we have one more question left, and we have Sanitu leading, and we have Sanitu leading, and so this is the ninth question. So what SQL command is used to remove all records from a table, but to keep the table structured intact? Let's see who gets this right. So let's see how the leaderboard, how it changes, and who wins this today. So yes, right. For you to score more, you will have to again answer, you have to provide the correct answer, right, with least time. So yes, we have three correct answers. So the answer is truncate. Let's see the leaderboard. Yes. So Asna is on the lead. So let's see, we have one more question to go for the day. Let's see who wins. So here's the question. So which of the following attributes in an input element is used to specify that the input must be filled out before submitting the form? A very simple question from your web development chapter, right? So the basics of web development, specifically targeting the form elements portion, right? So let's see who gets this right. Let's see who wins, who tops this quiz today. Yes, we have five correct answers. Let's see who wins. Here comes the leaderboard. So yes, so with an aggregate of 5,595 points, so Asna wins for the day. We'll take measures again. Technical team will take measures to deliver the gift, right? So we'll take measures. So Asna, please do contact OC. So we'll take measures to do that. And with that, again, thank you people for participating for the quiz. So we have five more questions to go. We'll quickly discuss this and we'll wrap things up for the day. So yes, can we fade the screen to the paper? Yes. So you can see the screen, right? So we are dealing with the 43rd question. Business activity modeling involves. So we have five answers: creating system prototypes, identifying and documenting business processes, testing system components, implementing security measures, conducting user training. So business activity modeling, what does it deal with? Creating system prototypes, identifying and documenting business processes, testing system components, implementing security measures, conducting user training. Very simple, right? So business activity modeling, as the name suggests, right? So business activity modeling, right? So there, I think you can simply extract an answer from this, right? So it's very obvious. What you simply do is you identify, you document the business process, the main business process again, you know, you are going to write, you are going to construct what? A conceptual model. That is what you're basically doing. So your answer is what? Your answer is identifying and documenting business processes. Very simple, right? So basics of your system development unit, your systems unit. So right after that, we have a very simple question: a system that can function independently and has its own set of rules is known as what? What is it? Is it a closed system? Is it an open system? Autonomous system? You have subsystem, and finally we have complex systems. So what is it? Closed system, open system. So now this system is going to function on its own. So we have real world examples such as the human circulatory system is a very good example for this, right? So your heart is a closed system, right? So that again is a real world example, but in this case, right? So what systems, people, are again, you know, independent, right? And it has its own set of rules. What is it? Is it a closed system? Is it a open system? Is it an autonomous system or a subsystem? Finally, we have complex system. So it's simply what? It's simply what? It's simply what? It's a closed system, right? So closed systems, they have their own inputs, they have their own rules, they have everything. So they are again, you know, there is no contact with the environment. There is no contact with the system environment. So everything is dealt with. This is dealt within the system itself. So your answer is answer A, closed system, right? So that leads us to the next question, your 45th question. In classless interdomain routing, CIDR, what does the suffix after the IP address such as slash front slash 24 represent? So you know, in networking, right? So we are discussing subnetting. So we have classful IP addressing, we have classless IP addressing. So the CIDR, classless interdomain routing, specifically deals with classless IP addressing. So we are again, you know, moving ahead from classful IP addressing to classless IP addressing. So the prefix, the suffix CID slash 24 represents what? Represents the number of host bits, not the slash 24 represents the number of network bits, right? So number of bits allocated for a network. So mainly in your case, you are dealing with IPv. Again, you are dealing with IP version 4, IPv4, right? So you're not dealing with IP version 6. So in that case, you have 32 bits, you have 8 octets, right? So out of those 32 bits, how many bits are allocated for the network portion that is dealt with the CIDR? So you have that answer, you know, explicitly. There is no fuss, right? So you can simply, you know, what, extract the answer from this, right? So not the broadcast address, not the default gateway address, not the subnet mask length, not the number of hosts, it's the number of available networks, right? So number of it's the number of it should be network bits, people, right? So that is that, right? We'll move ahead. What is the default subnet mask of class B IP address in classful IP addressing? Yes, right. So in classful IP addressing, you know, we are bifurcating the IP class spectrum into several classes, right? So we have class A, we have class B, we have class C, right? D and E, right? So D and E are again multi-class groups, and again, you know, you have A, B, and you have C as well. So what do you think? The subnet mask of class B, very simple. What is it? Right? So you have 255.0.0.0, right? Right after you have 255.255.0.0, which is again this is the subnet mask for class A IP addresses. This again is for class B, right? So you've got this, which is what? Class C. So the answer is? Right? So 0.0.0 again, this is not a subnet mask. This is incorrect, right? So there should be a host portion, there should be a network portion, right? So even this we can eliminate, right? How about, what do you think the answer is? Right? Number of network bits. Right? So what is the default subnet mask? So what do you think, people? Right? So class B. Class A is 255.0.0.0. Come on, right? So we are dealing with the last few questions, so I want you all to answer. Right? So what is the answer, people? Right? So it's very simple. 255.255.0.0. Right? So class B. Right? So this is the IP range, the subnet mask for class B IP addresses. Very simple. Right? So which of the following is a key advantage of classes IP addressing? Right? So over class full IP addressing. It allows more efficient use of IP addresses. It has a fixed number of available host per network. Now this you see in class full, right? This you see in class full. So what they are asking us, key advantages of class less IP addressing over class full IP addressing. So here in this case, right? So you should be sound, you should be solid with your English, right? So now you will have to understand the use of English here, right? So that you will have to deal. So it has a fixed number of available host per network. No, this you see in class full. It eliminates the need for subnetting, right? So no, right now mainly both class full and classless, right? You're basically dealing with uh, subnetting, right? So so if we eliminate the need of subnetting, right? Again, again now both of these are existing because they are again used in what? In subnetting. So not this. It is only used for private IP addressing. No, right? So used both in public and private IP addressing, right? It requires IPv6. No, there is no such requirement. So both IPv6, IPv4, right, supports again class full and classless IP addressing, right? So there is no again no issue with the spectrum of IP classes, right? IP addresses, right? So what is your answer? It allows efficient use of IP addresses. Now you know, right? In class full IP addressing, there is a fixed there's a fixed number of what available host per network. So there in that case now equally, right, now your network will be what bifurcated, will be subnetted in an equal manner, right? So it will be split upon in an even manner, which again is the inherent limitation of this. So that could be that is eliminated with classless IP addressing coming into place, right? So 48th question, what is the primary purpose of subnetting in class full and classless IP addressing? To increase the number of IP addresses in each class, to organize networks based on geographical location, to divide a network into smaller manageable subnetworks, to convert IPv4 to IPv6, no, to remove IP addresses redundancy, right? So there is no such thing called IP addresses redundancy. They are unique addresses. To convert IPv4 to v6, no, that is not the case, right? To organize networks based on geographical locations, no, there is no such thing, right? So based on geographical locations, we are not mainly subnetting, but we are subnetting for what reasons? Again, to what? To create smaller manageable subnetworks, right? To ensure that your network is manage, your network is your network is functioning efficiently in an effective manner, right, after the subnetting is done, right? So to again to what? Bring a big network into a smaller manageable portions, we do subnetting. So your answer is C, right? So we have two more questions for the day, right? 49. What is the main function of the physical layer in the OSI model? Very simple, people. Come on, right? Error detection and correction, data encryption. So you know the OSI model, it has 7 layers. So by now you should know what these 7 layers are, right? What their functions are, what are the protocols that are functioning within these 7 layers, right? So even the TCP IP model, right? So that should be known. So we have error detection and correction. So this is done where in so there are two layers, which is dealing with error detection and correction. One layer is the transport layer, right? Data encryption and decryption is done in what layer, right? So it is done in the presentation layer, right? Establishing and terminating connections, right? So maintaining sessions is done in the session layer, right? Defining physical connection characteristics and data transmission. Here we have our answer, right? So this is done in the physical layer. Packet switching and routing, this is done in the network layer, right? So hope you have answers. So this is your right answer, right? So we have one more question for the day, right? Which OSI layer is responsible for establishing, managing and terminating sessions between applications, right? So very simple, it is what? It's the session layer we just discussed, right? So with that note, people, with this question, right, our MCQ discussion will end from here, right? So there are few notices that I will have to give, right? So in terms from our end, in terms of from the organizing committee's end, right? Again, now behind this process, although you are seeing a screen, although you are seeing me, there was again a tremendous effort and a lot of a lot of physical and mental efforts again that assisted in making this process a success, right? So there's a whole lot of people, working behind the scenes, right? So if you are active in our groups, you will see them in the upcoming days. So this this seminar series is a trilingual seminar series that will be happening in all three languages. So we have a singular session today, right? Will be happening at 4 p.m. Right? So that will also be again streamed and will be again the live session will be going via Zoom. So encourage your fellow friends again to participate on those as well. And again, we think, we assume that this paper again was again was indeed was effective and was fruitful for you all, right? So keep active, be active on our groups, and we'll be sharing questions until you are done with your exams. So on that end, we'll be doing that on our part. So wishing you all very good luck on your exams, and hope that you all will ace this exam, and hope you all will land, hope you all will secure the chance to enter a state university, or maybe again pursue your higher studies, pursue your dreams. So with that note, we will officially wind up. We are officially terminating today's session, and we are calling it a day. Thank you for participating, people. If there's anything, if there's any assistance that you need from our end, you can communicate through our groups. So that will be on our end, and we'll be providing you all with the marking scheme and the paper as well in the days to come, in the upcoming days. So we'll take a little time on that, and the recording will also be uploaded on YouTube. So keep in touch with our groups, keep in touch with our YouTube channel. So with that note, we can call it a day. We can wind our session up. Thank you for participating. I'll see you all. Cheers. Good luck with your exams. Hope you will ace your exams. Thank you.